Okay, so one of our community viewers, who's really damn good at catching all of these reports before anyone else, sent me one that shows the US exceptionalism on full display. It's a report out of Arizona that claims the snowbirds are on their way back. Now sure, we can't stop all of them from going. But what the CEO of Canada-Arizona Business Council said in this report, yeah, it pissed me off. And I'm pretty sure it's going to piss some of you off as well. I'm also going to show you a few reports that completely put this Arizona claim to rest. Plus, I have another one out of Florida, and let's just say they're starting to panic down there. Today's backdrop comes from Chris, who took this photo from Victoria Harbor in Hong Kong. Chris is actually a Canadian living overseas, and I had a great chat with him over email. We're actually planning to jump on a call pretty soon. It's not just Canadians here at home that are standing strong in the boycott. Canadians all over the world are reaching out to me, sharing how they're cutting ties with the United States from abroad. So thanks again, Chris, for sending this over, and I look forward to having a chat with you in the future. All right, let's dive into this Arizona report.
At Phoenix Sky Harbor, the first Canadian snowbirds are landing for the winter. I'm Adam Klepp, asking them about new immigration requirements the U.S. government is putting on Canadians. What's your favorite part about coming to the U.S. and Arizona specifically?
Arizona, well, the sunshine, heat, and golfing.
Seeing my new grandbaby. Yeah, and just golfing and getting back into the swing of getting out of the winter.
Now, I know what many of you are thinking, but we can't control these Canadians who still choose to go to the United States. But like I've said before, if anything happens while you're down there, don't come crying back to Canada. You made this choice, and at this point, you've been warned enough times. I'm really wondering how many of these Canadians have that mentality of, oh, it'll never happen to us. Well, let's see how it goes.
Whether it's Porter, WestJet, or Air Canada, flights from our neighbors to the north arrive daily in Phoenix. While flights continue, travel rules have changed. Canadians staying longer than 30 days now have to register with the U.S. government, a step some say is discouraging travel.
Some friends don't want to come across the border because they're worried about being photographed and fingerprinted, and we've had Nexus cards, and that's part of it, and I'm not worried about it.
Some of your friends probably care more about your country's sovereignty than you do. And it's pretty clear you don't care at all. And I've got to be honest, I'm siding with your friends on this one.
So we anticipate status quo on snowbirds and a 20% drop on tourism.
Glenn Williams with the Canada-Arizona Business Council says those winter visits add up to $1 billion boost for Arizona each year. And so far, airlines haven't changed their schedules.
I'd really like to know what timeline this reporter lives in. Because according to travel.com and several other outlets, flights to Arizona have already been reduced. We've seen clear reports from Air Canada, WestJet, and others confirming that flights to the United States overall have been reduced. And even with the winter season coming up, they said they're not bringing those routes back. So to claim that Arizona is somehow untouched by all of this, I don't think that's realistic. If I could get my hands on some flight data comparing last year to this year, I'm pretty sure that alone would shut the claim down completely. If anybody knows how to get this information, let me know.
We have 212 nonstop direct flights a week between Canada and here, so they're watching this winter closely, and they're not making big shifts yet.
As for surveys which show Canadians protesting a trip to the U.S., Williams believes once the weather really starts to turn,
they'll make a statement for a while, and then they'll get in the middle of winter and then quietly get on a plane and go down the next day.
Now let me ask my snowbird viewers, what do you think of this guy's statement? He's basically saying that you'll cave the second the weather gets cold, and that you'll quietly head back to Arizona or somewhere in the US because you can't handle the real Canadian winter. He's literally calling your bluff. If I were a snowbird and this was me, I'd tell the guy to fuck right off with his American exceptionalism, thinking Arizona is the only place that Canadians can escape to. To me, it's insulting. He's underestimating just how many snowbirds have already said they'd rather deal with the snow at home than step foot in the United States again. And for those who are still going south, many are choosing Mexico, Costa Rica, or even Portugal. So no, Arizona, you're not that special. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I feel like we, as Canadians, got every right to be pissed off by his arrogance. If you agree with me, drop your thoughts in the comment below. And if you also do agree with me and you're not subbed yet, hit that sub button, but only if you really want to.
Back at the airport, Janice Smith agrees, saying Arizona remains a premier destination for Canadian snowbirds like her.
I think there's a few people that make a loud noise about certain things and try and stir people up, but when you come right down to it, I've never had an issue. My family haven't had issues, and we're going to continue to come.
I'll just say it. I like your friends more than you. At least they stick up for their country. But hey, you do you. Maybe you should just stay down there, to be honest. Now, going back to the CEO from the Canada-Arizona Business Council, whose website I've conveniently pulled up right here for you. He's completely out of tune with how Canadians actually feel about his country. I've seen the same arrogance from other so-called tourism executives before. They're all saying the same thing. Canadians will come back. They have nowhere else to go. Well, I'm saving this clip, because that's future meme material for me right here. If I was a snowbird, I'd be tempted to message him directly and tell him his American exceptionalism was way off base, and that he's seriously underestimating how pissed off Canadians really are. But I'm not a snowbird, so I can only give my opinion on my channel of what I think about his exceptionalism. This report is completely biased. It's painting a picture that all Canadians love Arizona and that they're all coming back. But for fuck's sakes, they're literally interviewing Canadians right off the plane. Of course they're going to say nice things about your fascist country. How about you come to Canada and interview the ones that didn't get on the plane? Then you'll have their real story. I'm sorry for the F-bombs, but this story really pissed me off, and I'm not even a snowbird. Now let's get to the story from our side of the border. Let's look at a report from CTV. The YouTube title almost made me lose it, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. I think what the title was supposed to be is more Canadian snowbirds decide against wintering in the US over economic tensions, because the actual report doesn't match the headline at all. Probably just a simple mistake by CTV, right? Right? Anyways, let's watch it together.
It seems more Canadian snowbirds are deciding to fly elsewhere this winter to avoid the U.S. as their vacation destination.
The number of Canadians crossing the border has been steadily dropping, and a new survey finds the trend is likely to continue well into next year. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Well, thanks, Nathan and Michelle. Next month, many retired Canadians would normally be packing their suitcases to head to Florida, Arizona, and other sunny U.S. destinations. But a new survey shows a massive drop in snowbirds planning to cross the border, choosing other hotspots instead. More Canadians are turning their backs on travel to the U.S., deciding to either stay home or choose sunny destinations somewhere else. A survey by the Travel Health Insurance Association of Canada found that only 26% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 37% drop from last year. The survey found of those 61 years of age and older, only 10% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 66% drop from the year before.
Quite the stark contrast from what we just heard out of Arizona, isn't it? That Arizona report focused on the tiny handful of Canadians still going south, cherry-picking people who just got off that plane, pretending that's the whole story. The reality is completely opposite. A much higher percentage of Canadians are not going this year, and this report right here proves it.
We've certainly seen a move by some to get away from maybe ownership or long-term rentals in the U.S. in favor of other southern climates.
The survey found Canadians are concerned about rising travel costs, political tensions, exchange rates, and safety. The shift comes at a time when the U.S. is introducing new entry requirements, which mean Canadians staying for longer than 30 days need to register and provide their fingerprints, be photographed, and pay a $30 fee.
Having your photo taken and your fingerprints done feels really weird and wrong to us, but the reality is many countries all over the world have already been doing this for the last decade.
Yes, a lot of countries are doing the biometric and facial recognition scans. That part isn't new. And like I mentioned in my previous video, I'm fine with that actually. My biometric data and facial scans are probably in the database of several countries, and I have no problems with that. But here's the difference. I do not trust the Trump administration or any of the other departments with what they'll actually do with the data. And I'm pretty sure many of you feel the same way, given everything we've seen in the United States lately.
Expert Barry Choi says while travel to the U.S. is down, he believes many families will continue to go to U.S. attractions, but keep a lower profile and not post on social media. He says snowbirds that own property in the U.S. will also find it hard to stay away.
If someone's a snowbird and they own a vacation home in Florida or Arizona, of course they're going to go.
Leave it to CTV to get under my skin again. But let me ask the snowbird viewers, does this guy named Barry speak for you? Because what he's saying is that if you own property in the US, then of course you're going to go back. I already know the answer from our GTL community. Many of you have already made it clear that you're not even facing this decision anymore because you already sold your properties. So yeah, this Barry guy is making one big assumption on behalf of a lot of snowbirds who clearly don't agree with him.
Canadians avoiding the States are also planning to spend winter months in Europe, including Portugal and Spain. Trips to Mexico and the Caribbean will also depend on the weather and the cost of travel. If American destinations cut prices, it may be enough for some to reconsider a U.S. trip.
If some of the U.S. destinations start to go on sale, maybe that easy trip over the border still prevails.
If a business in the US offered me a free trip, flight, hotel, everything covered, I will show you how fast I'd turn that offer down. I want to hear directly from our Snowbird community on this one, and then really debunk that Arizona report once and for all. If you are a Snowbird watching this, let us know in the comments what your plans are for this winter. Are you staying in Canada? Or are you heading to a new sunny destination outside of the US? Or are you still planning to go to the US? I'd love to feature some of your responses in future videos, because real examples from real people will help shut down these constant claims that the Canadians just can't resist the US. And if you need even more proof that things down there are getting rough, I came across this clip on the subreddit r/tourismhell on Reddit. Huge shout out to the mods on that subreddit. They've been sharing a lot of incredible articles and videos on tourism. All right, let's take a look.
We're getting closer to busy season in our area as thousands return to the Gulf Coast for warmer winters. However, some businesses say Canadians are noticeably missing, and they tell Dave Elias they are feeling the financial impact.
Well, our longtime friend Thomas Edison has been greeting fewer Canadians, all because Canadian tourism is down. And people who work here tell me they're used to seeing them visit the Edison Ford Estates, but not so much this year.
Well, we've seen a summer with a little bit slower visitation than the past few years.
Mike Cosden with the Edison Ford Winter Estates says, simply put, fewer Canadians are visiting.
They're a big part of the community, and they are a big part of tourism, so we're definitely feeling the impact.
Are we really a big part of your community? Or are we just a really big part of your financial bottom line? Because those are two very different things. And these days, when you hear words like community or we miss you, what it really means is that we need your money to stay afloat.
And Canadians telling me this past spring,
if we travel at all, it won't be to here. And for sure it won't be here.
They had no plans to return.
Mexico's looking quite appealing.
And it looks like they're keeping their promise.
Canadian-European market that has traditionally been here during the summer months is noticeably absent.
Business owners like Cole Peacock now feeling the economic impact.
This is kind of the time where the Canadians and the Europeans come into this marketplace, and they're just not coming like they were in the past.
Our international buyers, we have seen a decline.
Realtor Sue Cristiano with Elite Edge Realty says that many of those who remain are now looking to leave.
A lot of my international buyers that own vacant lots, for example, because they were going to build, are now selling their lots.
She and others point to the declining U.S. dollar, border concerns, and strained relationships with the United States, something business owners tell me they hope will improve soon.
Yeah, don't count on that happening anytime soon. In fact, count on it getting worse. It's interesting seeing two very different reports coming out of the U.S. One from Arizona, where they claim everything looks great and that Canadians are supposedly flocking back. And then the other from Florida, where they're openly admitting that Canadians and Europeans just aren't returning. And actually, they're selling off their home and their land. Shout out to our European viewers as well for standing the ground and saying no thanks. Now here's my takeaway on this video. That CEO guy from Arizona is the perfect example of US exceptionalism at its finest. That report doesn't show the real picture. The CTV one gets it a little bit closer to reality, but it's still CTV. The real story, the bread and butter of this video, is what's happening in Florida. That's where we hear from the actual business owners who are feeling the impact firsthand. Not from some tourist official, not from some CEO trying to spin a narrative, and definitely not from some government spokesperson trying to paint a pretty picture. Bottom line, listen to the business owners who are struggling, not the talking heads pretending everything is fine. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to get this message out to more people, and share it with your friends as well. And if you're still here and want to see more of my videos, or play Spot the Cat, check out the other videos that are showing up on your screen now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.